Hey guys, I think it's 10:45, so I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to talk about today the reason I'm here to talk about why LinkedIn is a must-have in your career journey as for medical professionals, both as a networking and as a marketing tool. So for those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Dr. Christopher Liu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Financial Freedom for Physicians. I was here last year talking about how to leverage social media, and today we're going to talk about leveraging LinkedIn specifically. So a quick disclaimer, everything here is for educational, informational purposes only. It's based on past experience. It's not advice. LinkedIn is an extremely complicated topic, so I'm going to try and provide a large overview on some of the intricacies, getting started, how to grow, and that's kind of why I'm here today.
Our next session should be starting.
So, overview, we're going to talk about evolution of the attention economy, rise of platform technologies. We're going to talk about the importance of building a strong personal brand to remain relevant in today's society. If a lot of you have private practices or businesses or you're content creators, influencers, the ability to build a strong personal brand will keep you relevant in a business today. And how you can rapidly scale your brand, specifically using LinkedIn. So a quick show of hands. How many of you guys are on LinkedIn currently? So okay, a large percentage. The last conference I talked to, there were no physicians on LinkedIn, so you guys are way ahead of the curve. And so, kind of show of hands, how do you use LinkedIn? Is it for, shout it out, how do you use LinkedIn? Why are you on LinkedIn? Marketing? Okay, thought leader, excellent. So you're gonna hear about all the different use cases, and I love the question or the answer, because I have to, because we're gonna talk about how to strategically use LinkedIn, be intentional about LinkedIn to grow your personal brand and to market your business. So again, so many use cases. We're also gonna talk about the role of AI. AI is kind of like the buzz and the hype now. We're going to talk about how to use AI to rapidly grow and scale your presence on LinkedIn using ChatGPT, as well as some of their unique features that a lot of these platforms are rolling out using artificial intelligence. It's incredible. And, kind of common pitfalls, kind of best practices, questions. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. I love LinkedIn. I love social media technology. So a little bit about me for you guys that don't know me. I'm Dr. Christopher Liu. I went to Baylor for medical school, got my career started in orthopedic surgery, and the unique thing about me was I saw the healthcare crisis coming in early 2000s. So in 2002, I started really focusing on how can I get financially free, how can I make myself, my job, work optional. So I picked up the copy, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, fantastic book for you guys that haven't listened to it or read it, fantastic. Through that book, that single book, I was able to retire back in 2016, 7 years ago, as a result of investing strategically during the 2008 financial crisis. So I've got a really interesting journey, one of a kind, very inspirational, and a lot of people contact me for keynotes talking about my journey. So I want to bring you back to 2016. I'm 38 years old, accomplished everything I wanted to do in life, and I was asking myself, what's next? I wanted to do more. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to help physicians. I wanted to grow and scale a large brand. So a lot of physicians at this time were suffering from burnout, and a lot of them were unhappy in their careers. A lot of physicians, 1-2 years out of their training were already quitting. And so I started and founded Financial Freedom for Physicians. We are a digital media platform dedicated to raising awareness about the importance of financial literacy and financial empowerment among the physician community. And it's been awesome. I'm all over social media, TikTok, LinkedIn especially, that's my baby, Instagram, Twitter. We've got a rapidly growing podcast, YouTube channel, newsletter, blog, etc. You can find me on my website up there, and at the end of the talk there is a QR code that you can scan to get direct access to me after the conference for any questions or if you want to connect and so forth. So you're gonna see that LinkedIn has played a pivotal role in allowing me to rapidly scale my personal brand, in addition to other forms of social media. So I started out with my thought leadership career by writing 4 books detailing my financial freedom journey. It's all on Amazon and Audible, you can check those out. But what's really key is that I've leveraged LinkedIn and social media to get into healthcare consulting, to get into physician coaching dozens of physicians around career transition, financial literacy, becoming an influencer. So I spoke at last year's conference. It was a fantastic conference about social media. I've spoken, just got done with the Seek Non-Clinical Careers back in Chicago. I'm on my way to New Orleans for FinCon. And I've been featured on White Coat Investor and written for a number of large, popular financial physician outlets, including Kevin MD, MD-PhD, and Doximity. So that's a little bit about me, and now time to focus down on why we're here. So you'll see that I've leveraged LinkedIn into a position of a thought leader and influencer, and I became extremely fascinated with how these platform technologies are rapidly changing our lives today. The ability to build businesses from the ground up for very little cost, very efficient, ability to scale and reach millions of people, at the single click of a button. So currently, what we live in now is this landscape where we live in this relationship economy where attention, the ability to capture attention, eyeballs, and to convert that currency into growing a following, into thought leadership, building a community, building a brand is extremely important. So those that understand this and that can actually capitalize on this ability, you can create a devout, cultivated following, create flourishing communities, and you place yourself at a significant advantage. You'll never go obsolete because you have a brand and a following that you can take with you wherever you go, despite what's happening in the economy today. So if you're a direct primary care, if you're a private practice, if you're a small business, this is extremely powerful. A strong personal brand is one of the best ways to ensure that you remain relevant in the years going forwards. With 24/7 connectivity, smartphones, social media stands as a potent tool enabling this value unlock, and we have the ability to reach millions of customers at the press of a button. So that's kind of the brief overview. So why LinkedIn? LinkedIn is because there's a saying where you want to go where your customers and your clients are. You want to go where all of them are hanging out. My parents' generation, my grandparents' generation, it was, the churches or the town square or the pubs, the schools, all of that. Today's age, it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of these social media platforms. That's where all the eyeballs are. So thinking from a business owner standpoint, you want to go where everybody is hanging out, where you can make connections, where you can find potential clients, where you can find customers. So here's some statistics. For business professionals, it is the #1 social media networking platform. That alone should really capture your attention. There's over 930 million users as of September, and it's growing exponentially. People are awakening to the power of LinkedIn and these platforms. 63 million companies, recruiting, marketers, thought leadership, sales, hiring, finding a job. More and more people are finding jobs on LinkedIn as opposed to in person. And it's the world's largest professional network, millionaire CEOs, business leaders. So if you are thinking seriously, a lot of you are, now it's time to think how to strategically position yourself on LinkedIn so that you can get more opportunities. A couple more statistics. Eyeballs, attention, traffic. So 61 million job searches. The beauty of LinkedIn is that a lot of these users are high income, high net worth, highly educated, looking for business contacts and connections. So they're already vetted, and you have 2 times higher conversion rates compared to, say, Instagram or TikTok. The next trend on LinkedIn that is increasingly popular is this area of thought leadership and becoming an influencer. So in the past when we went to Google to search for certain terms or certain businesses, now people are specifically going to LinkedIn to search for content related to their specific professional questions. So you can see 96% of B2B marketers use LinkedIn for organic social marketing. Organic meaning non-paid ads. So it could be through the form of posting, writing articles, this type of growth. It's one of the most effective channels for driving high quality business leads, and it's got some of the best results out there, which is why I'm here talking to you guys today. So a couple use cases that I want to talk about. A lot of you talked about thought leadership, marketing, influencers. This is all great. You guys are starting to think and become more intentional how you use these platforms for your business and for your career advancement. So you can use it for a resume. A lot of people use it to build their network in case they want to do their next professional opportunity, hiring, getting a job, recruiting and sales. And then as well as more creators, including writers, speakers, going onto LinkedIn to write articles to showcase their thought leadership. That's an important trend, so you can become a LinkedIn influencer. So if you missed out on YouTube, which is extremely hard to grow, or if you missed out on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn is really promoting people to use their platform, and it's really easy to grow on LinkedIn. A quick word about the algorithms. So there's all the hype about we have to beat the algorithms. The algorithms are changing. The algorithms are a black box, all of this. What I want to kind of shed light on is kind of in this age of artificial intelligence and data, these platforms are designed to maximize return on attention for the companies. And so in that light, they reward certain user behaviors. So if you can figure out which user behaviors the platforms like and they favor, you can position yourself to have more influence on LinkedIn and overall to your following and to your community. So that's kind of the big picture overview. And more time and attention spent means more opportunities, more ads, sponsorships, connection, more network activity. So the more you understand LinkedIn and its algorithms and use it to play to your strengths, the more LinkedIn is going to reward you by showcasing your influence, by showcasing your profile and your posts and your articles and your videos, all for the mass consumers. So a couple of things, always lead with value. Those who are engaged more often on the platform, posting frequently, insightful, engaging comments around critical topics and issues, positioning themselves as thought leaders, do much better. Those who also build and broaden their connections, one of the best ways of growing on LinkedIn has been through writing articles. So, there's a lot of people using LinkedIn for other uses, and the algorithm rapidly identifies that and kind of penalizes you. So for example, spam, or you try to redirect the traffic to outside sites, those are things that kind of LinkedIn frowns upon. So we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about some of the nitty gritty, setting yourself up for success. The number one thing that you can do from here is setting up a strong professional profile, and it gets you noticed, set yourself for success, and increases your influence. So I'm going to talk a little bit about building the optimal profile. For those of you kind of more advanced, this may be you already know this, but it starts with a headline, very succinct, very brief. It has to be, so mine is founder and CEO, and it kind of tells people what I'm all about. The next thing is, what I commonly see is people posting personal pictures. LinkedIn is not that. If you want to post personal pictures, that's Facebook or Instagram, but you want to have a professional headshot. The hack behind this is that you can actually do, because iPhone cameras are so sophisticated these days, you have a well-lit background, professional shot. It's really easy. You can do it extremely efficiently, cost-effectively. My wife took that photo of me The other thing is the business background, business logo, very easy as well. You can put pictures of you in action. You can hire a designer on Fiverr or Upwork. I paid 20 bucks, one time for the business logo. It doesn't have to be expensive. Next thing is what I find frequently is that people don't put their website or their contact info. And the reason why this hurts them is because when people look at the first thing, they're going to redirect to your website. So for example, my main contact info has my email address, and then I redirect it to the podcast, which is the main marketing arm where I bring guests on. I talk about marketing, entrepreneurship, passive income, financial freedom, and that sort of thing. So you can use LinkedIn to actually grow and expand. Other things is there's a area where you can actually set yourself and have a creator mode. So if you're a thought leader or an influencer, you can turn this creator mode on, which I'll show you in the later slides. And that's about it. The other beauty of LinkedIn is that for your work, so I have a newsletter and I post frequently, and I also write articles that I post to my LinkedIn. For a newsletter, you can also start a community page as well as a business page. So there's a lot of opportunities and features for you to grow. So growing on LinkedIn, like I said, very easy to grow. They're always adding new features, trying to keep up to date. Posts and articles are getting more views frequently, so the best way to position yourself as a leader and an influencer is to write articles. And then you can even use ChatGPT, take a blog post and rewrite it. It's really easy using artificial intelligence these days. The other thing is, with these AI features, it's easier and easier to grow, make connections, create content. Compared to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, I think the two main platforms that are the easiest to grow on currently are LinkedIn and TikTok as well. The more time you spend curating and creating on the platform, the more you grow your influence. So, I talked about the different types of content that you can create. One thing I wanted to note is this area for educational videos. So I have a growing YouTube channel, and I can also cross-post those YouTube links onto my LinkedIn profile, and then I can also highlight those. So when people come to my profile, they can see the work that I've done, adding more to my credibility. Podcasts as well. Podcast is a huge marketing arm. If you're a thought leader, influencer, creating content, creating value, creating education, creating information. And then there's this section on creating engagement. So engagement is kind of the next step. Once you build the following, you want to create engagement in a community in order to grow and to increase your brand and your influence. So that can either be through the newsletter, which I talked about. There's a LinkedIn community that you can, as well as business page. There's also an option for live spaces, which I plan to experiment in the future. But if you think about like Twitter Spaces or Clubhouse, LinkedIn is trying to incorporate these features so that more people are on the platform, networking, creating value together. And live streams as well. So I have a lot of webinars where I'm either myself or have a guest, and we're live streaming it to multiple platforms all at once. So it's really easy to grow. Looks like, I kind of give you guys some food for thought on what to do. And so here's a couple of additional LinkedIn features that I find extremely interesting. So using artificial intelligence to grow. So that could be within using ChatGPT, or it can actually, right now, you can start creating posts and you can start drafting with AI within the platform itself. And I want to give you a personal example of how AI is fundamentally revolutionizing, changing the way I create content. So, for example, last year I had, a blog editor, video editor, social media manager, and, it's a lot of, time and coordination, right? And it cost me around $10,000 to run, manage these different components of the team. This year I switched to using software as automation. So that's including ChatGPT, it's using Wisecut AI, Opus Clips, all these different softwares, and it's 10x my content creation. It's actually 3x my following across all channels, and I spend less time. So for example, when I record a video, I can upload it to these software streaming services, and it can actually push out to all the channels at the click of a button in long form and short form. So you're seeing the impact of artificial intelligence, how easy it is to create other valuable content for others and how easy it is to grow. So really utilize ChatGPT, LinkedIn as well. A lot of these different platforms are rolling out with new AI features. The second feature that's really helped me to grow is this creator mode. So I mentioned that earlier on, and if you go on your resources tab, which is on your profile, it's kind of in the middle, you want to turn creator mode on. This allows you access to writing articles, newsletters, etc., and it allows you to grow as a thought leader and as a forward thinker for your community. If you're just starting out, I recommend the free features. Just kind of get your foot in the door, build your following, build your connections. As you become more advanced, there are more and more paid features. So there's, for example, I have the premium business, but there's also different paid features depending on what you want to use it for. So there's a career paid feature. There's this, if you're in sales or if you're in marketing, recruiting, there's all these different type of features. But start out with the free features first, grow your brand and experience, and then move on from there. So common pitfalls and mistakes that I see, we talked about strategically using LinkedIn, so I know there may be follow-up questions at the end of the presentation. Some of you that are still employed, you have to be careful how you use social media, particularly your posts and your views, so just be conscious of that. If you do post, outside of their terms of service, you can get your material censored. There is question of how these platforms are treating AI edited content and posts, which is going to be a really interesting discussion. Avoid controversial topics, kind of triggering topics, kind of keep yourself, under the radar, navigating conflicts of interest. And one thing I want to point you out, there's a lot of people creating, fake accounts, spam, all these things reaching out to you. My advice is just kind of ignore those, really just focus on those that you really know in person, fostering unique, authentic connections. There's always bad actors out there. And you don't have to do this yourself. You can hire a team to do this. There's people that actually manage other people's social media accounts. So kind of, once you're at this point where you're growing a business or you're doing more and more, think about hiring or outsourcing the different options. So keys to LinkedIn success: always lead with value. It's always, 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 always value. Providing valuable content, staying consistent, daily writing habits, following through, fostering community, and the following will come over time. So this is how you can get in touch with me. Scan the QR code. My email address is above. Feel free to ask me questions afterwards, reach out to me, connect with me. I'm really happy. I'm really excited, and I'm in love with social media technology, how you can use technology to rapidly scale your business brand. And I thank you for your time and attention, and happy to answer any questions.
Do you hire someone to handle all the inquiries? Like, that was my problem with LinkedIn, is that I don't have time to all these people who want to connect or whatever, or ask questions. Like, wow. I mean, I had to bow out of it because I felt like I didn't have time.
Yeah, really good question. So the answer is yes and no. So for example, last year I experimented with a virtual assistant and this, just to see how things went and whether it was setting new time or adding extra time. So if you get a great virtual assistant, he or she can actually manage all of these. Like I know some of my colleagues, they have managers that handle all their accounts, all the email, everything. Do you need to do that? No. You will save yourself time if you hire a good team. You want to hire somebody that's really good, that saves you time as opposed to making it harder and more difficult for you. How long have, like for example, let me just ask you, what are your goals on LinkedIn, or how long have you been on LinkedIn, or what are you using it for?
2016, I set up do integrated functional medicine, and so I was trying to create a community. And I finally had to hire someone and do a newsletter and all that. But we just limited it to Facebook and we're dabbling in Twitter because it just generates so many questions, and some of them are medical.
Yeah.
And so now the community or the man that I hired, he can't always answer all those questions. So
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah, some of the ideas, some of the questions are going to fall by the wayside. I find myself responding less and less to just kind of general inquiries and more specifically on strategic and strategy and what moves me forward, like a new connection or a new opportunity.
Okay. So you just don't always answer.
I probably 90% of the time I don't, but I do answer my email. So.
Okay.
How frequently do you post new material on LinkedIn or on any platform? Like, what's the frequency of where you're putting new thought leadership out there?
Yeah, excellent question. So I have my schedule is I actually post every day to LinkedIn. So it could be just kind of a thought-provoking, could be an event I'm speaking here, could be my thoughts on certain things. My focus and energies these days are on artificial intelligence and where it's going and how we can use it. So I'm having a lot of guests on my podcast talk about artificial intelligence. But like I said, Gary Vee said a really great, where you want to be posting around 15 pieces of content a day. And that's I know it's a lot, but if you can get to that level. But I'm posting at least once per day on LinkedIn.
So you're doing, so 15 per day, I just want to say, you said 15 per day.
Yeah, but that's not just on LinkedIn, that's across all platforms.
So if you did one on LinkedIn and you put it out to all the platforms, would that count as one?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said 15 because that frightened everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can post once a week, you can post once a day, just kind of figure out what works for you, what you need to do to grow. These are just kind of general guidelines.
Did you talk about LinkedIn Live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about LinkedIn Live, we talked about live streams, so, yeah.
LinkedIn Live is very helpful. Essentially, if you have the time, if you have 15, 20 minutes to post a video, to LinkedIn, it'll create a notification for different people who may be on at that time. And you may only get 3 views, you may only get 30 views, but that's not the point. The point is you're doing for one what you wish you could do for everyone. But the LinkedIn Live has been very helpful tool to get more information on there, because I'm much likelier to watch 5 minutes of your video, even though I'm not going to watch the full 40 of the interview of the guest that you have, but I can hit in 5 minutes versus I'm going to spend the next 8 minutes clicking on an article and reading an article. So video is going to be a very helpful tool. And because this is a LinkedIn focused one, how many of us have Instagrams? How many of us you have an Instagram account for the practice or for your brand, yourself? Becoming very, very popular and very helpful. There was even a movie I was watching the other day on Netflix, and he's like, the guy was an assassin, right? And so he said, like, he was talking to his sister who was also an assassin. He's like, I feel like I got this type of, condition. She's like, stay off the medical TikTok. And so, I was telling my wife's on there all the time. It's like, man, if doctors could all get together, buy like a TikTok, and then just post really good content on there, it would change the world. And so we're going to have to address this type of content more and more as the time moves next year you'll cover Instagram or something like that, because Instagram's gonna be one of those things. And again, it's age-based. Like, I use LOL. You've gotten an email from me. You've probably seen me say LOL, and that teenager, she's like, nobody uses that anymore. So I was like, okay, what's everybody into? So thank you, Dr. Liu, for being here. Appreciate it.
Excellent.
All right, that concludes our latest sessions. We're going to take a 15-minute break.